Hi, welcome to Cinema Makeup School's Talk and Shop and SFX podcast. I'm, as always, Kim Lonning, here with...
I am sometimes Andy Schoenberg.
Sometimes Andy Schoenberg, our Chief Academic Officer, and today we are talking about Jumanji.
Jumanji. I hear the jungle drums now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder how that's going to sound. It might sound terrible. We'll see. I like your shirt. Did you wear it special for today?
I did.
Yeah, because I was looking, I was like, it's because I love all the
one of the
animals.
things that we found on Jumanji was when we got our crew shirts. Remember, crew jackets and T-shirts and all that were a big deal at the time. I got a crew shirt from Tom, and on the back, instead of animatronics, it said animaltronics.
That's fun.
Yeah.
All right, so Jumanji, another Amalgamated Dynamics Incorporated.
That was one of the first projects that I supervised for them.
Oh, cool.
Along with Yuri Everson. Alec and Tom were largely out of town while that was going on. And actually, Yuri and I supervised it in the shop and got it all out the door. And then Yuri and Alec and Tom went off to Canada to film it and left me in town with my family, which was nice of them to do.
Yeah.
And Tremors 2. So while they were filming Jumanji, I was building
Tremors 2. Oh,
yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
What were your responsibilities as a supervisor for a project like this?
Well, it was making artistic decisions and facilitating a schedule so that everybody knew when things were shipping and when they had to be done and packed and all of that. So things had due dates, but they sometimes said, we redid the schedule and we're going to shoot the lion before we shoot the bat.
Oh, gosh.
So we had to
be
ready for anything.
Rearrange the schedule for that. So obviously there was the big lion. There was a lot of animal work in this. And then, of course, the makeup on the boy.
Right. I did that makeup.
You did?
I didn't apply it, but I designed it and sculpted it.
Yeah. How was the process of that? Like, how was the design process, especially working with, like, the directors and producers of, like, what they wanted to see?
First of all, the kid who played the little boy was great. He had done the voice for Chip, the teacup in Beauty and the Beast. So he was coming in high off of that and was a great kid. I'm sure he's a fine adult as well. Meeting with the directors and producer, and of course Alec and Tom had their input as to what it should look like. And there additionally was one more stage to that progression. And that was not on the kid. It was on some man named Bobby Porter, who has been in everything. The producers, when they saw it, went, "Oh, that's a little more extreme than we thought it would be." So that got the bums rush out of there. And the final stage became the little boy in the makeup.
Okay.
And it presented its own challenges. Charles Pourlier got a couple of stages out of it by playing around with the hair pieces and having it start back on the face and grow down more as the thing went on. And it was, it was a makeup on a child, so it had problems with the application with fidgety kids and things like that. But it was fun. And Alec and Tom have a silicone display head that we did of that I cast up and painted, and Karen Keener did the hair work on that is really nicely done. And it's in their display room to this day.
Yeah, I've seen it when it was still Studio ADI, now it's in Alex Gillis Studios.
Yeah.
Or Studio Gillis.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whichever way it goes. But yeah, I've seen it. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Are there any other considerations besides like the fidgeting kid that you consider when doing a makeup for a child?
Well, I think you always have to anticipate that there will be difficulties with a makeup like that. Because kids, and this kid was a stuntman's son, at least the stunt version of the makeup was. And I've run into situations on set where you get into the trailer and you're like, "How are you this morning?" "Terrible." "What's wrong?" "I don't want to wear the makeup today." It's like, well, you kind of have to.
Yeah, you gotta.
So you got to talk them into it and make it sound like fun and all that, whatever you need to do to get them in that makeup. And they'll work against you, by picking at edges or squinting when you're putting them down. And it's really hard. I did a test once with Garrett Himmel on Cat in the Hat. And the thing 1 and thing 2 were makeups on little kids. And the kid was being so belligerent while putting this makeup on him that I just kind of gave up. And Garrett's like, no, you just do this. Garrett doesn't have kids. I had 2 kids at the time. He did a great job of kind of corralling the kid and getting him back on track. You know, W.C. Fields said, don't ever work with kids or animals.
Yeah. And you worked with both. You had them both in this one.
Yeah.
Did you guys have to like life cast him too, right?
Oh, yeah. I think he was 9 when we did the show, and that seems to be about the earliest age that kids can really successfully be life cast.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a problem.
That's good.
And then gluing the piece on, I did the test makeup because Charles' plane was late coming down from Vancouver, and he just he got to the studio right as I finished the makeup and did a couple of changes of color and stuff, and that was it. We life cast a 7-year-old girl on, well, not really successfully.
Yeah.
On the 6th day, I think it was called. It's a Schwarzenegger film with a doll in it that's supposed to be. It was all the rage for the Christmas season, and it's kind of creepy. Steve Frakes did a bang-up job of getting all that he could of this little girl's face. We started off, we told her we were just going to put the alginate here. And we got it on there, and she wasn't happy, but she was tolerating.
Yeah. So
he just kept massaging it, creeping it in closer and closer. And he got everything but the little T-zone right there. And she started freaking out a little bit, and he's like, okay, I'm not going to do anything else.
Yeah.
And then, so we had that.
Yeah.
Which is the shape of the head.
Yeah, that's a good information to have.
And I just sort of put all the rest of the stuff in there.
Well, at least now, because nowadays there's a lot of like 3D scanning for life cast.
Yeah, and that's much more successful.
Much more successful, yeah. Much easier to deal with, so we don't have to sit underneath either alginate or silicone.
But for Jumanji, Alec and Tom knew they were going to be back and forth for meetings all the time. And so they handed us, Yuri and I, these sheets of the build, what things were being built and how much money we had in materials. We started with the bat, which was we had the least amount of money to do.
Yeah.
And then we went on down to all of the various things, the lion, the crocodile. The kind of gag at the shop was, what animal is Tom going to be? Because Tom was always in a suit in the stuff that ADI did.
Yeah.
So we're like, what's Tom going to be? Figuring, we can't put Tom in a suit for these. Oh, he'll be the crocodile and he'll be the lion. Like, oh, okay. I had no idea. It really was a good thing because Tom's a great performer, and it allowed us to work with that and do things that didn't have to have massive amounts of cable and stuff. Tom provided the legs for the lion and anything roaring especially, but swiping at people and all that. He did all of that stuff. Okay. And then there were 2 versions of the crocodile, but the one that Tom was in was there was a suit that he wore that he provided movement for the arms for, and he could steer the head from inside of it and make it lunge and attack. So that was kind of cool.
That's cool. I'm just like picturing how like amusing it must look when you're puppeteering some things, especially animals, because like how would you puppeteer? Yeah, the crocodile just like being underneath it. Like I'm sure it's amusing.
Well, the crocodile was all hydraulic.
Okay.
And we had to design skins for the crocodile that could take on and shed water quickly.
Yeah.
Because it jumped up out of the water and then went back down, and we didn't want it to have to wait on its return to the water for it to take water back on.
Yeah.
So we did real thin, smooth-on skins, which is a urethane material. It's like silicone.
Yeah.
Silicone before silicone.
Yeah.
And they did like a 1/4-inch layer of smooth-on through the whole thing, and then backed that with sheets of black foam, the black sponge, open cell. So it could take water on and shed it almost immediately because all the cells are open.
Yeah.
And it just was good like that. A guy named Russ Schenkel built the hydraulics for it, and he did an excellent job. He still has a shop somewhere. I did not ride that like I did the T-Rex because it just looked too scary.
And then, what about the lion?
No, the lion had Tom in it. I was going to ride that.
Yeah.
One of the things that was really cool that we made for the movie was, I mean, a lot of stuff was cool, but the thing that was kind of unexpected was this flower that opens up and shoots a poison dart. John Daw did that. John did the dilating pupil on the eye in the T-Rex. So he was good at figuring out really complicated things. He made super lightweight, thin shells for the flower petals and opened those up and then had the poison dart array sitting in there and one of them fired out of it. So it actually shot a dart.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was a very cool thing. And he did a great job of using the petals and everything that the sculptors had put together. It was all sculpted with the intention that it would be vacuum formed. So it would be these, I think it was 010 plastic, which is super thin. And they were painted up really nicely. That was the first show that our man Air Dan worked on. And he was the guy who submitted a really quirky application for employment. And
why do I feel like I've heard stories about Air Dan?
Because you probably have. Air Dan is pretty cool. His name is Dan Brodzik, and he got the job by sending an action figure of himself to the shop. And so for people who are looking for a quirky way of getting your information in front of people, this was the way one person did it. To me, it was a little too off the wall, and it didn't do it for me. But Yuri thought it was great, so he insisted that we have the guy in. And I thought, well, there's no good excuse to not have the guy in.
Yeah.
So he turned out to be very personable and an excellent painter. So we hired him.
What was the most challenging part of the build for Jumanji?
Well, of course, the schedule was pretty tough because there just wasn't any time to do any of it. We had to build all of these creatures on a very, very limited timetable because they were starting to shoot. They shot mostly in Vancouver and Vermont.
So that's just kind of all over because you're down here in California, you go straight up to Vancouver and then all the way across the country to Vermont.
And Burlington, Vermont is as close as you can get to the Canadian border in its town without going over the border into Canada.
Do the animatronics and hydraulics react differently in different weather?
Yeah, you have to worry a little bit. I mean, as long as it doesn't get below zero, I think you're fine. But hydraulic fluids will get sluggish and slow up. Joints will expand or contract depending on the type of metal. Get a little stiff. I had that problem on Wonder Boys with the dog puppet.
A lot of problems on Wonder Boys.
Well, once I got the face on the thing figured out, we never did say how I got that figured out, but
maybe we'll do a Wonder Boys episode.
We'll do what to do if your makeup effect is wrong.
And we could do that. Just be versus going film by film. We could just talk about that.
The big problems on things and how we solve them quickly. Like the day on Walking Dead it was episode 1, season 2, I think, where Maggie comes riding in on her horse and clocks a guy in the head, a zombie in the head with a bone or a piece of wood or whatever, baseball bat. And we're just kind of hiding off camera to reset the guy's makeup, and Jake and I. And I look at Jake, who's running the department. I said, "Do we have an aftermath makeup to do on this guy?" And he goes, "Oh, no, that's a good point."
No.
I'm like, she's hitting a guy with a rickety head in the head with a baseball bat riding on a horse. So we just took it upon ourselves to go up there and put a more extreme aftermath makeup on the guy. But we did it all out of makeup bag.
Yeah.
Because there was no time to even go back to the trailer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I said, I got some cosmetic sponges we can tear up. So I tore up a bunch of sponges and we glued them on the guy's face and painted them zombie colors. There you go. Aftermath.
There we go.
Like we had a plan that way.
Yep. That was the plan the whole time. If you don't tell people there's a problem and you solve the problem, there really wasn't a problem.
There's no problem.
There's no problem.
I don't want to hear about the problem. There's no problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing to build?
On Jumanji?
On Jumanji.
Well, my favorite thing to build was probably the makeup for the little kid. I also had a good time, even though I just supervised the construction of it and all, with the big pod plant. That was kind of fun because it reminded me a little bit of Audrey from
Little Shop.
Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah, I was a little bummed that I was supposed to go to Vancouver with the Stage 4 suit on Bobby Porter, because Bobby's was in the very first film I ever worked on in Africa. He was the stunt chimpanzee. I was going to go to Vancouver on that and be there with Bobby in the suit and tend to him and get him in and out of the suit, make sure the suit looked good, all of that stuff that goes along with that. And then when the suit got canceled, I didn't have anything to go to Vancouver on for the film.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of bummed. And right before Alec and Tom left, they called me into their office and showed me these drawings of this creature. And they said, these are designs for Tremors 2. We're going to do this show, but it all has to be built while we're in Canada. He said, so if you will supervise the shop while we're gone and make sure this all gets done in time. And they gave me the build list and told me what was expected for each portion of it. And I said, sure, that'd be fun. And it was a blast. Yeah. It was great fun. It was like having my own shop because everybody else was out of town. And I just got to build all this stuff for as cheaply as I could.
When Alec and Tom are away, Andy gets to play, right?
Yeah. It was fun. And the crew loved it, and it was a lot of fun to do. Yeah.
So you kept, do you guys like to keep primarily the same crew through projects, or sometimes you lose some people?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Sometimes we told people on crew at various times, don't take anything, we got something coming up and we're going to bring you in on this. And they'd get nervous or they'd want more work than what we had offered them and they'd run away.
Yeah.
Then you'd call them up and go, okay, we need you to start Monday. Oh, I'm already working. Well, why'd you do that?
We told you that there was a project coming up.
So.
But I get it. There's pressures of being a freelancer because at shops, they're still just contractors primarily.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've got people that you would prefer to have, and then other people that you weren't necessarily your first choice, but are still great people.
Yeah.
And you always try to work within those groups. And sometimes, like with Air Dan, you take a chance on a guy who's completely unknown. Mm-hmm. And Air Dan was great because he painted all that Jumanji stuff. Mm-hmm. And then he painted, a little later on, the feathers for the wings on Michael.
Okay.
And that was a show that had some stuff that it looked like something else. The big long feathers on the wings in Michael were all vacuum plastic.
Oh, interesting.
And they were done and cut out real carefully. And then Air Dan painted them. I should just say Dan Brodzik. Dan painted them.
Air Dan.
with a real translucent white paint. And he had to get it on there perfectly so there weren't any overlaps in the spray and stuff like that. But he did a great job. Then you put the quill up the middle of the feather, and it's a feather. Yeah. When I first looked at those in the wing, I'm like, the way the sculpture was and the vacuum form and everything, I thought, and that was something we got from Jumanji, was we vacuum formed him in 020 plastic, I think. So it was just as thin as it could be, and so you could see light through it and all of that.
Yeah, I would never have guessed that they were vacuum formed plastic.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Now you can look at them with a different degree of criticism.
Yeah. Now let me take a look at this. Because you mentioned the bat, the alligator, and the lion. Were those just the three main animals that you worked on? Were there any others?
Well, the other big one were the spiders. We did a bunch of those. I think we might have even done a dozen of them. Mm-hmm. They were self-contained puppets. They just had an on-off switch on the side. They'd turn on and it would walk. Well, I had young daughters at the time. Mm-hmm. And the oldest of the two, my daughter Emily, was much into Jumanji, the children's book, which the movie, I think, captured the sentiment of pretty well. But one of the things that sold the children's book were the illustrations in it. That's what got me interested in it. They were black and white drawings that were beautiful. Well,
thank you again for joining me, Andy. It's always lovely talking about all these movies with you. Thank you guys for joining and watching in. As always, we post every Monday. If you're interested in practical effects, we are a cinema makeup school, so stay tuned on our social media. And if you're interested in learning, always go to our website, cinemamakeup.com, to get more information.
And if you have any questions about anything we've talked about, feel free to respond with that, because I'm more than happy to talk about all of the crazy stuff that's happened in 40 years of being a makeup artist.